Hello, this is Professor Satish Kumar Soni. You have already seen reviewing COs, course outcomes. So this is the part 2 of the video series OBE 2.1. Thank you for joining the channel SKS Education Tech. This video program will discuss how to review COs in older curriculum using appropriate action verbs and correct sentence syntax. Second section in this video is discussing an approach to incorporate a few relevant generic COs with the disciplinary COs. Let us see and move further. Keep in view my assumptions while you use this video. Your university has already implemented at least one reform in the curriculum and you are not using traditional contents, formats, and methodology in formulating syllabus. You already have started understanding basic premises of outcome-based education and have already written disciplinary outcome statements such as vision, mission, program education objectives, program outcomes, and course outcomes to communicate disciplinary intents clearly what your graduates shall be able to do at the end of the course or a program. This presentation is trying to suggest continuous reform through an approach to formulate outcome statements using better action verbs and integrating disciplinary, allied, multidisciplinary outcomes and a few generic outcomes. To create a tabular documentation of such statements to facilitate faculty in developing better assessment and evaluation processes and instruments for more effective attainment of outcomes. Section A, OB 2.1 Part 2, Reviewing COs. It shall discuss how to review COs of an older curriculum using appropriate action verbs and syntax. We have already discussed syntax or structure of outcome statement previously in part 1. No harm in repeating the discussion. Let us take an example of a CO from an interactive domain of learning. The CO is, at the end of the course, the students will be able to demonstrate to negotiate with the client company CEO to fetch an order in favor of his organization. The negotiation shall be completed successfully in allotted time of 25 minutes in a neutral venue of a restaurant. The expected size of order is of the order of 400 to 600 pieces and the value of the order more than rupees 2 lakhs. Now you can see the color code. Violet color indicates the action verb. Negotiate is the action verb. The red words, they describe the criteria of performance. So favor of his organization, time within 25 minutes, then size of the order 400 to 600 and the value of the order rupees 2 lakhs. These are all criteria. And the condition under which the performance need to be demonstrated is a neutral environment of a restaurant. Methodology of writing outcome statements. Analyze tasks to be performed by the learner and divide into number of clusters of sequential steps of performance. Review all the steps and sequence compliant with abilities of the performers. Select a suitable action verb which communicates the intended learning performance. Reflect on which domain has more dominating role in the steps of selected performance and assume that the performance belongs to the dominating domain of learning. Continued methodology of writing outcome statement. Step 5. Use action verbs belonging to allied domain suggested at relevant learning level to begin drafting of outcome statement and edit after say 1 to 2 hours to review grammar and syntax of the outcome statement. Describe the criteria which you shall accept as entry-level evidence indicating proficiency to be demonstrated by the learner to pass the assessment successfully. Wherever required, elicit also the conditions under which the performance is to be demonstrated and criteria to assess and evaluate it. Hello. Basic terms related to OBE. OBE is targeted at achieving desirable learning outcomes in terms of knowledge, skills, attitudes, and behavior at the end of the program. Learning is a process of acquiring schemata, intelligence, talents, expertise, and other abilities that can be used to solve problems more effectively. Teaching with this awareness and making associated efforts in recording attainments of CO constitutes implementation of outcome-based education. Domains of learning outcomes refers to three primary categories of learning outcomes, which are cognitive, mental skills, affective, emotional, attitudinal, and psychomotor, physical skills, each representing different aspects of learning that a student shall achieve. Interactive domain is an additional domain which should be used especially in those job situations and programs which are requiring a lot of human communication amongst them. One is to two, one is to more is to one, etc. The previous table has been cut and a small portion of the table has been shown to improve the readability. I will demonstrate two processes. One is editing or reviewing the course outcomes, and second one is selecting few generic skills or POs with the discipline. CO1. Explain the importance of manufacturing, which comprises materials, processes, and systems. Previously, the action verb understand was used, which is inappropriate because understanding takes place within the mind of the student, and it is very difficult for anybody to see or read the mind of the student. CO2. Previously written statement was understand the metal casting metalworking processes, and able to. So the red words have been deleted and the correct use of action verb will be starting from perform casting of metals, forging, and sheet metal operations through the practical classes. Now you have to think that we have selected the disciplinary program outcome as procedural understanding of doing a professional task. Along with that, we can think or select that critical thinking can be improved, communication skills can be improved, and learning to learn can be improved. Similarly, with the CO2, we can see that the disciplinary PO is multidisciplinary practical skills, and along with that, we have chosen communication skills and coordinating, collaborating, and you can also choose the third one. Once you choose these particular generic skills, you have to give some tips for designing the supporting assignments in which these generic skills will be dominating. This is another table which illustrates how the curriculum should look like nowadays, which is compliant to NEP 2020 and outcome-based education. Column 1 is the serial number, column 2 unit number of the syllabus, old syllabus, and CO1, CO2, these are the serial numbers of the course outcomes. Then the description of the COs, and again in this table I have shown red color words which are inappropriate and how to select the appropriate CO that is based on the logic that the proper action verb should be used and the highest level of learning within that unit should be illustrated through this CO. The second yellow column shows the related disciplinary POs along with the CO. And the bluish column, third column, fourth column is showing the generic skills which are related to the disciplinary POs. These generic skills are achieved with the help of the disciplinary POs and COs because these generic skills or POs are not directly taught, they are caught while the students learn the content or disciplinary POs. So that is how you should document the new curriculum showing the CO number, CO description, then related POs, disciplinary POs, and related generic POs. Tips to write and include POs and generic outcomes in learning, teaching, and assessment. Generally, one course outcome is sufficient to express highest level of educational intended learning implied in one unit of traditional syllabus. Let us take example that driving a bicycle in a crowded road is the name of the unit. And there are many sub skills to be learned and which are lower than driving in the crowd. So, if you write drive bicycle in a crowded road or street, that intent is that students should be able to demonstrate driving bicycle in a crowded street. And there is no need of writing balancing and braking and pedaling of the bicycle in terms of COs. So that is the idea. Generally, one course outcome is sufficient to express highest level educational intended learning implied in one unit of traditional syllabus. Use only one higher level action verb in one CO statement. Action verb of higher level implies inclusion of all lower level action verbs and abilities. For communicating and inducing comprehensive professional learning, primary vehicle is content related to major minor discipline and allied disciplines, on which activities leading to generic learning are planned, implemented, and assessed at the end of instructional session or semester. Rubrics over oral, visual viva voce, seminar, innovative, minor or major projects, portfolios, and internship, etc., are the opportunities which provide ample opportunities to facilitate in learning, assessing, and evaluating attainment of COs and broader program outcomes. Section B of OBE 2.1 Part 2, Reviewing COs and Curriculum. How we can use an UGC publication to avail detailed ideas of relevant generic course outcomes. After discussing the advanced format of curriculum incorporating COs, disciplinary POs, and generic POs, let us now see where from we should get ideas of program outcomes as well as generic program outcomes. Context is Higher Education Bharat. UGC has published a new student-centric curriculum and credit framework for undergraduate programs, CCFUP, which complies of ideas which are compliant with NEP 2020. It incorporates a flexible choice-based credit system, multidisciplinary approach, and multiple entry and exit options. This will facilitate students to pursue their career path by choosing subject field of their interest, and it also gives elaborate ideas about program outcomes as well as generic outcomes. We will see few examples of generic outcomes in next few slides. As I have mentioned that UGC published a book on curriculum and credit framework for undergraduate programs. It has also given elaborate expressions and list of the generic outcomes. I will read a few sample generic outcomes for your reference, and you can refer to this book for details of these generic skills. Complex problem solving. Solve different kinds of problems in familiar and non-familiar contexts and apply learning to real-life situation. Critical thinking. Apply analytic thought to body of knowledge, including the analysis and evaluation of policies and practices as well as evidences, arguments, claims, beliefs, and the reliability and relevance of the evidences. Creativity. Create, perform, or think of different and diverse ways about the same object or sentence. Deal with problems and situations that do not have simple solutions. Innovate and perform tasks in a better manner, and so on. This is the second example of generic outcomes. Communication skills, analytical reasoning and thinking, research related skills. Communication skills: listen carefully, read text and research papers analytically, and present complex information in a clear and concise manner to different groups or audiences. Analytical reasoning: evaluate the reliability and relevance of evidence. Research related skills: a keen sense of observation, inquiry, and capability of asking relevant, appropriate questions. Generic outcomes. Example 3. Coordinating and collaborating with others. Work effectively and respectfully with diverse teams. Facilitate cooperative and coordinated effort on the part of a group. Leadership and readiness qualities. Mapping out the task of a team or an organization and setting direction. Hmm. Conclusions. 1. The process of reviewing course outcome is very useful to transform older curriculum into new curriculum. The procedure suggested to review or edit COs and POs is very useful to develop a tabular, comprehensive OBE curriculum inclusive of all COs, POs, GOs, generic outcomes, for more efficient and effective implementation of OBE. A smart faculty shall always keep handy a paper print of list of active verbs for ready reference for any time for reviewing COs, POs, and GOs. Thanks for listening to me patiently. This presentation is a part of video OBE 2.0, OBE 2.1, Part 2, Reviewing COs. For clarifications, if any, contact Professor Satish Kumar Soni at the given email and mobile number. Please like and subscribe our channel SKS Education Tech if you wish to get more such useful video programs.